here's the catch. Like, I know it's TV, but it's real life. It happens. Like, so listen, there will be women within our age that will be okay with, still he's got potential type shit. Mm-hmm. And so he just put it in context because I don't want to generalize. When I'm thinking he's got potential, meaning he still has not fulfilled or found his purpose, or when I hear that with shit. Right. When I hear that, like he doesn't have a career. That's when I hear he's got potential. Whatever that. He may have a job. So I need to understand. Let me just delineate. He may have a job, but he don't have a career. He don't have no side hustles and nothing else. That's the potential. But he wants to open up this business. So he still has potential and that's great. I love it. I'm just in a part in my life where I don't want to teach nobody nothing. I will help give the resources, but that don't mean we got to be you got to be my partner. I'd be more fulfilled with, okay, you want to do this? You want to be an entrepreneur? Let me help you. I will help you do this, but we ain't got to be together. Yeah. Like because I'm not feeling like, I just know it wouldn't work with my style and how I roll. And then I know if I'm not feeling like it's being reciprocated and you're giving back into me. And let me tell you something, giving back into me is nuts.
And not just sex. Yeah.
Sex is sex. Okay. So that's not, it needs to be my mind. Right. So if you can't, if I'm feeling like I'm not going to get anything like by learning, it's not going to work.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Aunties podcast. I am Joe.
I'm Key.
And I am Jay.
Where we keep it real,
raw, and relatable while sharing our opinions
and experiences
and feelings.
Gang, how everybody doing?
Into it. So yes, we're good. I'm doing good over here in these streets.
Before we get into our topic, what's the word of the week for you?
Calm.
Okay, I can dig it. What about you?
Productive.
Oh, okay. I love that.
Yeah, it was productive.
Me, I'm gonna say revitalize.
All right. I'm right now.
Yeah.
I feel like we got different levels.
Yeah, you know,
productive, revitalize, and calm.
Yeah, you just, like.
Why you chose that? Why is that your word of the week?
Because I think the week before I was kind of like, bleh. And there were things that I needed to do. And, I was like procrastinating like crazy. And this week I said, no, we're going to stop procrastinating. We're going to get to do what we got to do.
Yeah.
Stop playing around. So
for me, I had a week off and I turned off computer and phone for 4 days.
Nice.
And that was something that I needed. So when I went back to work, it was like, all right, I already had my list of what I wanted to do and I got it pretty much accomplished. So it was very productive.
Yeah. I'm choosing calm because I feel like the last couple of weeks I have been in a state of frustration, letting things easily annoy me. And you guys know I'm all for controlling me.
Yeah.
So I am taking back my calm, my peace, and my tranquility.
I know that's all right.
I chose the work.
I know that's right. Okay.
I'm all for it.
All right. So, my ladies, the topic today, we're talking about the trials and tribulations of dating a financial burden. No, I'm just joking.
The potential or the unpotential?
The difference between having the potential and the person that's going to drain you. And also buried in that, staying in relationship as opposed to just being single. Because there's some people that do that.
Yeah. Are you choosing this zero because you don't know how to be a hero by yourself?
Damn, she is like on a roll today.
I'm asking the people. Just asking the people. You got bars. Somebody put that in rap. Choose a zero because I didn't want to be a hero in this motherfucking hero. And then again, yeah.
Okay.
Let's just real, because now you got me thinking I didn't want to be here because I got my own De Niro.
Listen, we gonna have later. They're gonna have a song on De Niro. First, they gonna drop a song. They gonna drop a single, a EP.
Right up.
She said an E-right.
No, but mess. Seriously, though. I do think that there's sometimes with all these things, and we are going to have the angle of just sharing the woman experience, but sometimes there's women that tend to date the financial burden and stay in those situations or be with someone who doesn't, you're so married to the potential. And I don't mean physically being married. I'm just saying that you are so like, he's got potential.
He says he's going to do this. He's got this plan and that plan.
Yeah.
What was the movie? Acrimony?
Yes. right?
Yeah.
So we tend to do these things and stay in these relationships because we don't want to be by ourselves. And that, to me, that's a self-esteem issue. Or you're just not comfortable being by yourself and understanding what you need and learning that. And I think that that's why they end up in these predicaments.
Yeah.
That's my take, you know? So
let's talk about because I don't think people even, if you had to put these things into categories. So if you look at potential, the potential is someone who's working towards stability. They're transparent in what they're striving for. They're contributing in ways that they can. They're not doing nothing at all.
correct.
Right?
Agreed.
They're not quite there, but the effort, ambition, and results are visible.
Mm-hmm.
So they're showing you that they're moving towards the things that they want to get done or accomplish to be at the level that they want to be at. Is that someone worth staying with as they figure things out? And then how long?
So I'm gonna ask the question before I answer that question. What age are we talking about? Because it makes a difference. Because if I'm in my teenage year, like upper teen, 17, 20, 25, less than 30, am I okay with dating somebody with potential versus someone that is 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50? At my age now, if I was on the market, I'm not dating for potential. But I think there's no potential. You have to.
I think you have to play because we do have different audience. We do have
That's correct.
Yeah.
Our audience
ranges from different ages, so it's good to
Yes.
set out.
Yeah.
And your perspective changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you real talk. Like I'm at 17, 18, 19, less than 30 potential. I get it. Like you can see potential.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And even sometimes into the 30s. But when you cross that 40 mark, I'm not dating for potential. Like you either got it or you don't.
Yeah.
And now I'm on the way to 50. I'm not on the market, but if I was, I'm potential. Either you got it or you don't. Like we're not doing it.
You've been doing all this.
The hell? No, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that. So you have to put ranges in there. You got to put that in there. Yeah, it's a difference.
Yeah.
No, I agree. But
Yeah.
you're a certain age. No.
But it's sad to say some women at 50.
Because some people are still working on things at 50. And you can't say that they're not. They're
No, for sure.
figuring things out at 50. But is that somebody you want to entertain?
For sure. So my case on that point is
Hell to no, she said.
no, I can only speak from where I'm at right now, right? So if I was on the market, then I'm not, no, I'm not. You can figure your stuff out, but maybe I'm just not the person for you, right? I'm not, at my age right now, I'm not teaching nobody nothing. Now, if we figuring it out together and we both want to embark on something together as an adventure, absolute, that's great. But I'm not, this age, I'm just not going to do it. I don't have it in me. I'm just not doing it. And here's a catch. It's so crazy because I don't mind helping people with resources and teaching them in that aspect, but to be a partner of mine and doing that, it won't work because
I'm looking at you different.
I would need it.
Like, what the hell you been doing all this time?
No, for sure.
What you're asking? What are you?
No, for sure, because there's things that I've done within my life up to now.
And that don't mean that you had to have done all.
You don't, but if I need to be able to learn from you.
Right.
I can't be the one that's always giving, teaching. I can't. I want to be able to learn something from you too.
Yeah.
So, because that comes with the respect.
Yes.
So I need you to teach me something.
Absolutely.
I enjoy learning.
That could shift things at that depends on the person that's dealing with that potential person in their 50s, because if they're accepting of that, then that's that. Everybody's easy peasy. Everything's gonna be breaky. A person who's, if you think about it, the Shy, right? Remember Shy and the character, I think it was season 6 or whatever, and one of the characters, I think he served some time in jail or whatever, and he meets this lady who, I think like an art deal or something.
Yeah, keep going. I'm trying to remember.
And I see it. So he approached her and asked for her name, whatever. They started dating, and she's trying to help. Like, I think she took him out to dinner, and he couldn't take her out to dinner. I'll take you out to dinner.
Bye.
And he was feeling some kind of way about it. Of course, like, listen, this is my lady. I want to be able to take care of my lady.
Of course. Yeah.
But she was willing to take care of him, I think, until she found out that he was liking somebody else.
Yeah.
So she was willing to date him at that level, understanding he had certain circumstances that probably would have put him in that position. But you were willing to make these certain sacrifices at that age, because if I had to think about it, they were close to our age.
Yeah. Listen, here's the catch. Like, I know it's TV, but it's real. Like, it happens. Like, so listen, there will be women within our age that will be okay with, still he's got potential type shit. And so he just put it in context because I don't want to generalize. When I'm thinking he's got potential, meaning he still has not fulfilled or found his purpose, or when I hear that,
with shit.
Right. When I hear that, like he doesn't have a career, that's when I hear he's got potential.
Whatever that.
He may have a job. So I need to understand. Let me just delineate. He may have a job, but he don't have a career. He don't have no side hustles and nothing else. That's the potential. But he wants to open up this business, and so he still has potential, and that's great. I love it. I'm just in a part in my life where I don't want to teach nobody nothing. I will help give the resources, but that don't mean we got to be you got to be my partner. I'd be more fulfilled with, okay, you want to do this, you want to be an entrepreneur, let me help you. I will help you do this, but we ain't got to be together. Yeah. Like I don't, because I'm not feeling like, I just know it wouldn't work with my style and how I roll. And then I know if I'm not feeling like it's being reciprocated and you're giving back into me, and let me tell you something, giving back into me is not,
and not just sex. Yeah. And
sex is sex. Okay. So that's not, it needs to be my mind. Right. So if you can't, if I'm feeling like I'm not going to get anything like by learning, it's not going to work. So helping you achieve your goals, I'm all for that. Yeah. But I'm all for that. But
I was looking at a note here
what you got?
It says, so talk about some of the characteristics of a drainer. Some people don't realize those characteristics, right? Because they still focus on, let's hear it. That's good. So it says, constant setbacks, financially dependent, no action behind the talk. But then the thing was like constant problems, little growth. And then you feel like their project manager, not their partner.
Yeah, again.
So that's the part that stood out to me as you were talking. I'm like, yeah, she can not be nobody project.
Because it's not going to work. And then he's not going to,
I don't think anybody wants that
but there are women that do that. They do it. And I just know it's not and I'm not knocking those women because here's the cat. Maybe they enjoy that. Maybe
they want to be the captain saver. Well, not captain. What is the version for? Because the men is captain saver. Women are no, Billy Bob the Builder, Captain Builder man. I don't know what you want to call it, but I also know for a fact, I ain't gonna name no names, but there are women that love to be in that position where they can teach somebody something and they're completely okay with it because in their mind, they feel like he'll never leave me because I helped him get that. So it is manipulation. It is power struggle. And I don't want to be that. I want it to be equal. You need to stimulate my mind. You need to be teaching me something too. If I can't get that, it's just me talking. I'm not saying about anybody. This is me. Yeah. I need that. Like, so I don't mind. I'm not going to gatekeep. I'm going to hit. You want that grant from the government? Baby, let's write it up. But I ain't your partner. I'm not the one for you.
I might help find somebody else for you. I'm just not the one. And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't want, that's not what I want. That's not what I'm looking for. So to me, I don't want nobody, that whole, at my age now, potential, no. Growing up with my husband, we were both ambitious. We were both like thinking out the box. I told you being freaking 16, 17-year-old washing clothes in a laundromat talking about, we could build a laundromat, it should be this and that. Like, who's at 16, 17 thinking about shit like that? That's how we thought. That's the kind of conversations we was having. So that to me, one would say, oh, he had potential. We both did. We both were thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? So that works for me. But at 50, I'm approaching 49 years old, baby. Don't talk about, I want to open up a laundromat. Okay, we'll get it going, Pops.
Did you have something to add, Joe?
No.
Do you think that in addition to wanting to be somebody's project, be a project manager for someone's life, that they're doing this because people are looking at them like, why are you single? Why are you alone? So let me just go get this person to just have in my life so I'm not alone and people are not looking at me like I'm at this certain age and I'm alone. There should be, that's what you see that, but I think people feel that way. Like when you think about all these things that they have these set expectations for we should be at in life, woman, at this certain age, you should be in your career, well into your career if you're a career-driven person or not. You should be married by this age. You should have a family by this age. You should have the white picket fence and all this stuff by this age. So being a woman of a certain age and not having a partner, do they feel pressure to just have somebody?
I guess it depends on the personality. I mean, some people are comfortable with being by themselves. They want to just continue being single and figuring their life out as well as meeting someone. Others, yes, I can see that being pressure. I'm more comfortable, speaking for me, I'm more comfortable. I'm not in the position to be teaching or wanting to teach or look for potential in nobody no more. I just not.
It's a lot.
So right now, I'm just about trying to figure my shit out. finding somebody to go if I want to go to a movie, if I want to go out to eat, a companion.
I could do that by myself too.
Yeah, and I have, and I still do.
I don't mind dating myself.
Yeah.
I like myself.
That's the thing. You gotta like yourself. And I think a lot of women don't sit enough with themselves to understand.
And even if you're in a relationship, you
still need to
figure yourself. You can still treat yourself out to a special day.
Self-care. Just figure out, because there's things that you're gonna like and there's things that you're not gonna like. And you know, a lot of times you with your girlfriends and you could be influenced by them, right? You got your day ones or whatever, and you could be influenced by your girls. And then you, based on whatever circle you're in, they could also influence the type of man that you get if you allow them to. This is real talk.
Yeah.
Right? So and I say if you allow them to, because if you're strong enough to say, nah, this is the type of dude I like, but your girls always flock to these type of, like, there's girls that be like, nah, he gotta have cheddar. He gotta have, well, cheddar, for you guys don't know, cheddar's money. I said that's a whole 80s term. Yeah. But that's money, right? But he gotta have some money, right? So there's women that I know, that's it. If he ain't got no money, I ain't mess with him. But then maybe deep down in your soul, you're like, no, you don't really, I need him to respect me.
Yeah.
But there's women that feel that way, but won't go against their girls because that's their girls. You know, and if they're not strong enough in their conviction to figure out what they want, they will conform. That's just the reality. You have to be strong with what you like. And I think a lot of times we be in relationships with our friends that we let them dictate what we like, but we're not even sure if we really like that shit, but we go along with it because it's the masses, it's a consensus, right? Just like if you like a guy that looks a certain way, oh, he has this job, he's got this money, he drives this car and all that shit, it looks good on the outside, but then when you get with him, he's beating your ass. But your you know what I'm saying? But your
Or even more so, they're not even contributing financially.
they're not contributing.
Their money is their money and your money is your money.
I think too many times, a lot of young women, I don't want to say young women. I'm going to even just use the women in our generation, because I don't know if it's happening a lot with the young women, but I know within our generation, it's definitely happening where we're influenced by our friends and what they do and whatever they decide to share, or if they didn't share, you just making assumptions based on what you see. So you're like, oh, she's doing real good, but meanwhile, she's miserable, or he's got like 10 other chicks, but you never knew because when he was around you, he bigged her up. She felt good about that, but then she's crying inside. So there needs to be more down-home conversations, and that shit don't necessarily happen until they in their 50s. The shit didn't work out between them dumb folk, and then like,
Somebody woke up and said, I'm sorry, woke up today, then walked away, and everybody's asking why.
oh, he was good.
No,
bitch, he was not gonna be upside the head. You know what I'm saying?
no.
You know, or he had 10 girls.
I know. Yeah, he was doing all that. Like they don't even believe you half the time
Because
they don't see it.
because it looked good and you was feeling good. So I think there needs to be more. We talked about sisterhood in the comments episode before, but I think the true sisterhood is feeling that vulnerability to be able to say, you know what, I'm not really good in this relationship. Or even when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I have to say that because a lot of times those years, without you even knowing or not, the gems that you get at that age, you carry that shit with you in your 20s.
Yeah.
You don't even realize it unless you're strong enough to say, I don't want to do that.
Right.
I'm going to go over here. But a lot of times people are not strong enough. So they just conform and be like, oh yeah, that's the way to
Or
go.
they do what they've learned or they've been taught. They just go and mimic that same
shit.
Yeah.
We're not having real conversations.
Yeah.
We're not having the real, like, or, you know, when we talk even about sex, you know, when you do talk about sex with your girls, it's about one way, but maybe you wasn't fulfilled, right? No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't, like,
because people want to date. It goes back to all the other conversations we had too. People are not being fully honest, even with themselves.
that's exactly what I'm going with.
Yeah.
So when you tell yourself a lie and you keep telling yourself your lie for all these years, what ends up happening is that you ultimately be miserable in relationship because you was never true to what you like. That's why I think a lot of times men and women need to sit with themselves and figure out what fuck they like and what works for them, and not by even the men. I only say because I don't think men talk enough amongst themselves.
No,
They don't.
About,
I agree with that.
you know,
It's just that ego.
it's the ego, and they just be like, I just gotta get the ass.
Everything is good. Everything.
But it's not. And it's talk about it. Talk about this. Like, if men were to talk, no, real talk. I know this is gonna sound crass, but you know my mind go crazy. Real talk. If men were to sit around and be like, you know, I have got with this shorty, something ain't smell right, meaning sex. I'm like, but I did it. And if another man said, dude,
What's wrong with you?
her pH balance was right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't mess like she wasn't right.
Or it could,
Or maybe you was off.
yeah, you're contributing to the problem.
You right. You know what I'm
They
saying?
having that.
But they don't want to be. And then next thing you know, it's like BV, bacterial vaginal. You know what I'm saying? No one's having it because it's embarrassing. But you need to have this conversation. Or the man to be like, yo, I just saw something online. I shared it with my daughters. This dude, young brother, good looking brother. He was, I hate to say it, but he was from New York and from the Bronx. But and he was like, I just smashed 5 girls and I ain't even watched. Like, he was bragging about it, right? If another dude would come in and be like, yo, you smashing 5 girls back to back and don't wash?
You bugging.
If you listen back to back, that's your business. But dude, you got to wash.
Yeah.
Like somebody needs to be have the conversation. Like, hey, I ain't gonna knock if that's what you want to do because they're allowing it to happen. That's one thing. But dude, you got one step away from getting something.
Yeah.
And giving
it.
So
You know what I'm saying?
And then want to turn around and blame the female.
Of course. But just we as men and women, we don't have enough down home conversations. And I think a lot of it has to do with because we don't want to be judged.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is these things happen. You go to the doctor for these things, or sometimes they don't. But
They think it's
don't go away. Or they go and try some over-the-counter shit. Yeah, take your ass to the doctor, get yourself taken care of. So you've been in a relationship for a very long time.
yeah.
So I don't even want to ask you this question. Have you ever dated someone who was a financial burden or drain?
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah, I've talked about this before. I've always been in situations where, unfortunately, I made more. But it was never
one thing, but
it was never a big issue for me as long as you conducted yourself as a man and treated me with somewhat respect and knew my likes and dislikes and held your own. I'm all for that. If we're trying to build and I'm trying to find out what you want as well as you trying to find what I like and want, it's supposed to work as one. But if it starts going in different directions, unfortunately, one of my situations, I stayed longer than I should have. And it took a while to realize I don't want to do this no more. And it really started making me look at what I really want, how I want to go going forward. So now I'm not in the mood to train anybody anymore. And I have my questions that I go into when I meet somebody to find out what they want. What are you looking for? Where are you looking at the next 5 years? And I've had some people give me that crazy look like 5 years. Like you shouldn't be asking questions like, but now
that's this big old age.
yes, I want to know what the plan is 5 years from now.
And not saying a plan for us. I'm just like,
I'm talking just
you
in
got
general.
going on.
Yes.
So yeah.
But that shows, I can't answer that question because no, I've been with someone for so long, so I've never had that situation. But I think my question is, so I just want to phrase it the right way. So have you, because you've always been in situations where you were always the breadwinner, have you ever tried to up your game, so to speak, to seek out someone a different level? Because you've been dating men that are here. And I'm just calling, they're here. So have you upped your game to be like, because it might, I don't know, I'm saying up your game to figure out, I need to be with somebody that's over here.
Yeah.
Or is that even something that you desire? And I'm asking because some women, I'm not saying it's you, but there are some women that are okay with having some men where they can be the breadwinner. It just makes them feel better. I'm not saying that's you. But what I'm saying is like, you try to, so that you don't always have to be the one making the money.
It would be nice, but I guess I've never placed myself in a situation to meet someone in that. Because most of the men in my circle, they're not black, they're white because of the field.
But that means you could know, well...
Most of my time is at work. I'm not, it's hard to say because I've never been around men unless they were like blue collar. Most of the men that I would have liked to get to know better, they were more of white, which is not something that I was looking for.
Got it.
So could I ask it this way? Because I mean, when I think about this specific topic of dating some unpotential financial drain or whatever, I don't think about it as I make more than him or he makes more than me kind of thing. I think about it as someone who's bringing their stuff to the table. Coming to the table with something that shows that we can move forward together, right? Because I think at the end of the day, you want to make sure your house is taken care of and all the things you need to do from a financial perspective. And you're going to have sometimes somebody who makes less than you. It's not that they're making less than you, it's that they're not even doing anything. They're not contributing. They're not holding up their end of this relationship. But not just from a financial perspective, from other perspectives, emotionally, all those other things.
Plays a part,
It plays a part. So that's why I'm not asking the question, did you date somebody that was a financial trainer? Not that he made less than you, it's that he wasn't even pulling his weight.
No, he wasn't.
So that was trying to differentiate the question of what I was asking. I haven't dated anybody who wasn't pulling their weight financially. I mean, we've been in situations where maybe he was out of work for a short period of time and I may have had to carry the load for the family,
which I don't mind doing that.
That life-changing experience. As long as you don't get stuck there.
Yes.
Right? So people do get stuck there and the person stay with that person that's stuck in that, oh, I lost my job, I can't find anything, it's not there for me, and blah, blah, blah. They deal with that bullshit. But if things happen from a life experience that's beyond your control, that's not say, okay, he's unpotential anymore. No, a little bit of roadblock. As long as he's getting himself back together or whatever. But if we stay there, that's something different. We have to have a different conversation. But I don't think that you should be looking at somebody who doesn't make as much as you as a financial drainer or unpotential. I don't think.
I've never felt that way. As what I'm saying is, even if the person does make less than you, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are a burden.
Right. But I get that. Yeah. That's not what I was going. I guess
I've never looked at money as being a fact. I mean, I do.
It's important, but
it's not important as you doing everything.
Part of the pot, right? Yeah.
What are you giving me? Are you taking care of my needs as well as I'm taking care of yours? The little things. I shouldn't have to teach you how to be a man.
But you can't.
Whatever that is.
Because you're not a man. But I guess my question, just to clarify, was, have you thought of leveling up? Because you said that I have. But you're attracting men that have always made less than you. So my question is, have you thought of figuring out a way to figure, okay, this is what I'm attracting, so something got to shift because I'm attracting this. This ain't working for me. So that means I need to shift so that I can attract something a little bit different. That's what I'm getting at. Because you know what I'm saying? If you've always attracted somebody that you've always been the breadwinner, but that's the point, all of your relationships, right? So then there's a common denominator here because it's like, okay, so if you've always been, so there's something that, okay, this is what you're attracting. So what do you need to do? Like if it was me, it's like, okay, what do I need to do to fucking, because I got to do something a little different. I got to change my circle. I got to do something because this is it me that I'm attracting? Because a lot of times people say, and I've read a lot of books on it, it's like, we attract the person of who we are, right? So it's like, what am I giving out that's making me attract this? Because that's not what you want.
What am I showing on the outside? And
that's pulling in this type of person. That's what I'm saying.
I get in. The problem is because of my personality, I guess it makes it harder to meet someone that would be on my level because to them, I am too assertive. I've been this way where because of my job and what I do, they look at me as we can't be the same. It's hard to find somebody, especially a black man, who can handle a strong personality like myself.
And there's one out there.
I'm not saying that there's not one out there. It's just that it's hard to, at least that's how I look at it. Because they feel like I'm too outspoken. I'm not going to change myself to appease you. You need to be able to handle me.
That runs both ways because that could be like, well, I ain't going to, it's a compromise.
And yes, it is.
So I think I think there's some way.
And if I do, yes, I'd be more than willing to compromise in that way.
What I'm saying is I think that there is someone out there that is confident in themselves enough to be like, okay, she can come with all that, but I'm confident in myself.
Yeah.
So you can be, this is what I like and he could be like, well, this is what I like, and then y'all meet in the middle. So it comes with someone who's confident enough and not intimidated. That's my thing.
And that statement also made me think about if you guys have been listening or hearing about the whole backlash that Tracy Ellis Ross is getting right now.
Oh my God.
Her statement of she's dating younger because men her age or older are so stuck in their ways and thoughts of how women supposed to be.
And it's true.
100% true.
But it's crazy the backlash. First of all, she's getting a backlash because she says she dates younger. And automatically people said, oh, she's dating like teenage, like she makes her not to be ahead of you. But no, she never said it. I never said it. But people assume and they immediately gravitate, which
also said why? Because they're attractive when she said it.
But it don't matter. She's 52 or something. So she could date somebody that's 49.
Right.
She's still older.
50, but that's not.
She's right.
She's 52.
Oh.
I think they said her age was 52 in the episode.
Oh.
But the thing is, she could date somebody 45, 46. It's still younger. No. That don't mean she's dating a 17-year-old. That don't mean she's dating a 19-year-old.
She was. It's still her business.
It's still her business. I know. I was saying crazy, but it is. I don't want to judge.
She wouldn't be the first.
She wouldn't be the first. But my point is, like, in social media land, we will be like, oh, we get one sound, but oh my gosh, she's a pedophile. And it's like, that's not what she said.
Is her statement false? Is her statement untrue?
I believe in our generation, there are men that Danny, you ain't know this. They are like, nah, she gotta cook, she gotta do this, she gotta do this. And then, okay, so let me do that. So that means you paying for all this shit. Because if I'm doing this and I'm not working,
It's easy to pay for all shit because she got to pay for her home shit.
right? But I'm taking it in like more at the common level, not.
That's her point.
Yeah,
I'm established.
she don't need you. She don't need to do all that shit.
I don't necessarily, not to say she don't need him from a financial perspective, because she's going to want them to contribute as well. I'm not going to be taking care of nobody, right? But don't try and say we have to be in this traditional role.
Yes. And that's what it's hard at. Yep.
Well, that's the thing. So when we talk about traditional roles, because my marriage is not tradition, right? So when we talk about that, you got to be able to, if you want me to cook, clean, and make sure there's dinner on the stove 5 days a week, then that means I must not be having the job I got.
Right.
Because the job I got is demanding.
Right.
So I can't do it. So are we going to get somebody else up in here? We going to get a chef in here to do it?
Right.
Or we going to be Uber and Eats?
Right.
Or what? I will cook, but the job I have is demanding. So I can't do it every day.
Yeah.
Because when I come with, so now you want me to do that and service you? And I'm saying,
And take care of these kids.
and take care of these kids and do this and do this. Clean. So what's gonna give? Because if I gotta do the 9 to 5 and do all of this, and all you gotta do is do your 9 to 5 and come home, that's not gonna work.
We beat up and expect me to put your.
We figured out how to make it work.
Yeah.
Right? We figured out how, for a little while we had nanny for the little while because it was just impossible.
Always.
You gotta figure out how to make it work.
Yeah, I felt when you have 2 working parents outside of the household, y'all gotta
Figure it out.
You're gonna contribute where there's a gap at the moment.
Yes.
So if I'm coming home, you've been home for 3 hours with the kids, homework should have been done.
Absolutely.
Bath should either been done. Dinner should either have been started. I can come in and help continue, and then everybody's settled for the night. Yeah. I'm not gonna come in. You've been home for 3 hours, and now I gotta check homework, cook dinner.
That's where it
Get
is.
the kids and get us ready to go out to start a whole new day.
That's the thing, right? So you figure out this is why
Closing out the trash. Nah.
But that's what I'm saying, right? So you got to figure out like what works. Like you said, if he's home for 3 hours and then with the kids, it's like, okay, so he's got, so as soon as I come home, because that has happened.
Vice versa, right?
And vice versa. That has happened. I come home and I'm like, okay, take the jacket off. Where you at? Right. The spaghetti on the thing. You at the dining room table talk about Johnny had 5 apples.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to be over here starting to let me make that sauce. You know, I'm going to jump and wash my hands and just get it popping.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it's a beautiful night. As damn, we put them babies down. I'm like, yeah. Because you don't serve us.
Yeah, talk about after I done did all that shit. Now you want to sit down and you go out to a movie or try and get what you said, sir?
No. So, but when you do, no, but when you come home and he's at the dining room table with Johnny and the 5 apples, and I'm making the spaghetti sauce and doing the meat, and then he comes slap my ass in the kitchen like that. Now we already got it going. Like, so put them babies to bed.
Exactly.
Cause get Johnny's ass there. But
our time.
you know what I'm saying? The only time it gets messed up is that you get at the end. This has happened. Real story. You get to the end, and then all of a sudden your son comes in and talk about. No, you got a project due tomorrow. I got a science project.
Oh shit! Back up to the table. Let's get this project done.
Man, I'll be ready. What do you mean? When is it due? Tomorrow. What? And then you got to go out and up on purpose. Yeah, but sometimes that happens. But my point, you see, is you don't bat an eye. You say you do what you're supposed to do to get it going. Forget the roles. You do it, and then
Time for roles when you have that type of
when you got 2 families. Now, if you live in a household, this is the more, I feel, I won't even say common household because there's different levels to this, right? But in a household where it's 2 parents, they're both working, you just make it work.
Yeah. What
Now, there could be 2 parents that have very prominent positions where you have the chef, where you have the nanny. So the nanny's helping to do the thing. That's a whole different dynamic. But when you don't have the means to do all of that and you are both trying to, make it the best way you can, the gender specific roles take a back seat because you got to do what you're supposed to do for them kids and for yourselves.
exactly?
And for yourselves, right? So you do the quicker. My thing is the quicker it is, you can get Johnny to figure out them apples, and you can get that dinner. We can get to us and get it. Be loving on each other.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Take out that trash, like them kids. Get your ass in the bed. Gotta get this stuff. Had a rough day at work. I need to be relieved.
Mommy and Daddy tired. Y'all go to bed. We go to bed too. Everybody go to bed.
No, I was saying I had a situation like that where he was out of work more than in work, but it balanced out because he was always there for the kids, and he took over that part. So it balanced out for that time. But after a while, it was getting to a point. The kids are getting older now.
It's changing.
Yes, and I'm like, okay, what do you want to do?
He got comfortable.
Yes. Yeah. And I tried to push and offered to send him back to school, and he was good with computers. Go get your certification in Microsoft. Back then, $65,000 was a starting salary for that.
But that's
just that.
Yeah.
I know it's different now, but still, it was just the point of I tried to encourage, and it was just
But they gotta want it for themselves.
exactly
Right,
It
so-
was- I couldn't be your cheerleader anymore because I needed somebody along with me cheerleading myself to push me into the next.
And that's the thing. So prime example, like when you're in situations like that, you trying to both get it out the mud. Like you gotta be cheering each other on. And sometimes some men, I'm gonna say this, there's some men that don't understand. They're so ladled with their own experience when this trials and tribulations that they deal with in corporate America. When they come home, they don't want to deal with the nagging wife.
Yeah.
Right? They done got beat up in the thing and they forget what if the nagging wife is in corporate America too and she's getting beat up too. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be able to hear and see each other.
Exactly.
It's not just about you and it's not just about me.
And that's what makes it hard right now.
Like, yeah, hear and see each other. And too many people don't know how to do that.
Don't want to do that.
They're so laser focused on themselves and their situation. Even when they're in a relationship, they don't laser focus on themselves and what they may be going through. Yeah, they can't even stop for a second to think about what you may be going through. And you may be having a hard day too. You can't sit there and keep cuddling and stroking them and while they and softening their blows when you getting punched left and right over here. You just can't do it. And that goes for both sides.
So this is why I go back to what you keep saying of what we tell you. The dating pool sucks because I don't want to date younger than me. I want to date either my age or older. And unfortunately, our generation, they have this mindset of how women are supposed to be. Forget your career.
A lot of men feel that. And it's not generation actually.
Yeah. So it just makes it hard. And
It's hard. Options are harder.
I would challenge some in our generation that some of these men do not mind being home while you're out there being a breadwinner taking care of them.
Yeah.
I know a few. I've seen a few of them where their women out there grinding.
Why they sit all day.
Lap of luxury, you know, and listen, to each his own. If that's what their setup is, but what I'm saying is that some men have the men who want to be the head of the household, beating themselves on the chest and have their wives fit in this box or whatever have you. And then you have the men that's riding with their wives and their wives, they riding together, they doing the damn thing together. And then you have the ones that just sitting back and just enjoying the luxury of what their wives are doing. And on the flip side, you have women that's doing that too. They have the men out there grinding and women out there enjoying the luxuries and the fruits of their spouses or partners' labor. So there's never just one side of cookie cutter to any situation. But they're all
our housewife. The ones that staying home and having the benefits of that. And that's shifting. But I don't want no man sitting at home all day not doing
Right. That's it. I mean, but there's some women that, to your point, that do. I think that there needs to be more conversation, even when you're in a relationship, with sharing, being a little bit more vulnerable about what's going on in your world, particularly as it relates to working, whatever trials and tribulations you have. But I say corporate America because that's what I know, but I'm sure there's stuff that I know for a fact there's stuff that goes on in blue collar, right? Because some men, and I know this to be true because I just recently had a conversation with my husband, like they won't bring they got going on at work, they're not going to bring it home. They just deal with it. Right? They won't say, okay, well, so-and-so said this, you know, like I could come home and I could be enraged at something that happened at work. And I would tell my husband, I know I'm telling him everything. And then the way I talk, y'all know how I talk. I get real raw with him. You know, I be saying some outlandish shit, you know, like, this is what I feel.
You shouldn't be able to say
that's my person. He's my, I could tell him anything. So I'm going to say, yo, I ain't going to say what I said, but I'm going to say this, that. So he, as a man, if he's dealing with something, like just recently we had a conversation and we were talking about like job stuff. And he told me about a situation that happened back when he worked in a different state. And I ain't hear about it. And that's been about 15 years. And he's telling me now about, yeah, man, I had to tell, basically he had to hustle, like he got slick with the mouth. And you know, it takes my husband some time to, like, he's very even keeled for the most part. When he gets upset, he's Aquarius. Yeah. They're quiet. They're like quiet. And then next thing you know, they can go to 0 to 200. And the guy got a storm. And then the guy said something. He basically said, and the way he did it, he was like, I just whispered in the ear, you do that shit again, I'm gonna break your fucking back. Now, I was dying. And you know, I had a little plan action. We were just sitting, just chilling, talking about different shit going on. And when he said it to me, I was on the ground. But at the time, I was like, why didn't you tell me back then? And the kids were younger, too much shit. But I just dealt with it.
I think that's the problem. Like you said, we need to be able to talk. We need to be able to talk about it. Let's think about this a different way. If y'all didn't have what y'all had and y'all are the way that y'all are, and you constantly coming home, and he's sitting there holding all that shit, and you probably going off of something he did. All he's thinking about is I'm dealing with this shit all day.
That's right.
Come home to this.
That's right.
And now this, and I never let nothing out.
That's right.
Lose it.
That's right.
Lose it.
They need that outlet.
Yeah.
But they have to do.
You got to feel, you know what I'm saying? So, and you're absolutely right. And then that's feeds into we were talking about, like having the ability to share.
Yeah.
Right. So, I asked him, I was like, well, you never shared that. And he knew it because he's, I don't even think I told you this before. I was like, you never shared. And he was like, because in his mind back then, of course, he was much younger, this and that. He was like, I said what I had to say. And then I know this about my husband. I say what I had to say and it was done.
Yeah.
Like he says, in that instance, I didn't really bring it home with me because I meant that shit. He do that shit one more time. But hand and exactly. Now that's stuff he does. But those things we'll talk about.
Yeah,
but
it's good.
But a lot of men don't.
So you ask them how their day went. It's either it was good, it was okay, or it was a crappy day. That's all you did.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Exactly. Same thing we talk about when you ask your child, how was school? It was fine. It was good.
What was good about it? Like,
you know what I'm saying? So let's talk about give me some detail, right? So it's the same thing. Like we have to be, if you're in a relationship, we both need to be each other's safe space.
Yes.
because they don't make you think like, and they'll make you pause for a minute. If you ask them how their day was and they go into some detail about it because they had a horrible day.
Yeah.
It make you think, because you may have had a horrible day too, but it may make you say, okay, his day may have been a little bit worse than mine. And you got bit later.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your day. Let's get you comfortable and calm down or whatever have you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hold yourself off for a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, you coming in with all your crap and they were like, oh Lord, here she go again. Because I don't know if you had I don't know you had a bad day.
Right.
All I know is I had a bad day and I'm going to hear about it. So
And that's the thing. I just feel like
conversations need to happen.
Yeah.
like I hear about like these relationships, like, are y'all really talking? Like, what are y'all some people? What are y'all really doing?
It got to a point that we weren't talking. My whole thing is I want to be able to come home and share my thoughts and feelings. Just like you had a bad day, I've had bad days.
Yeah.
But I was getting to a point where I'm coming home and I'm lowering minds or diminishing minds to appease you.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this in previous ones.
Yeah.
I was getting to a point I'm getting tired of diminishing how I feel about shit.
Yeah.
Or just me in general to appease everybody else's feelings.
Yeah.
And make sure so now I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I need something, yes. There needs to
Gotta be a balance. Gotta be.
I need to be able to share and be myself because I'm already turning off myself at work to appease bringing home a check every 2 weeks or just, being sensitive to other people's feelings because they can't handle shit when you're supposed to be an adult. That's another conversation.
Yeah.
For me to have to come home and do that too? No.
Ain't nobody trying to be in their own house trying to walk on eggshells.
Exactly.
Or code switch and be something that you not. Like, you doing that shit out there in your own house, you should be able to take that off and be like, all right, should be your safe space. Yeah. That should be your sanctuary, and you need to, I feel like we gotta be, no one wants to be vulnerable anymore to be like, yo, this is what I need. Man or woman. And this is, and then when you get in these relationships and then you don't really know each other, like, and shit changes. What you needed when you were together at 20 is gonna be different at 30 if you still together at 40, 50.
It changes year after year.
Yeah, it changes.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to understand these changes.
Agree.
Don't expect your partner to be the same person they was when y'all first met.
Mm-mm.
And there are some things that should be held because those comes down to like morals and values. Yeah, these things should not change, but there are things that do change, like goals in life change.
Yeah.
Aspirations change. So certain things do change, and those things need to be accepted.
Yeah.
They need to be coached and supported and encouraged.
Yeah.
But people get stuck. So
People are afraid to be vulnerable.
yeah, I say it's better to be by yourself than to be dating the potential, because the potential don't pay no bills.
Yeah. I didn't even get it out, but
Don't pay.
it's tough.
bills.
I just, again,
Be sober, and I
understand.
any day.
But again, clarify the age, because at our age, the potential ain't paying no bills. If you're 20 to 25 to 30, if y'all both potentials.
Yes.
So you gotta, and that's another thing. Like, don't be high up on your horse. You know what I'm saying? You being high up on your horse.
Speaking from our generation and age group and where we're at in life, and hopefully a lot of you are. No judgment if you're not. Potential don't pay no bills. And peace over partnership.
Yeah. I can be miserable by myself.
Absolutely. That's what the saying is. You don't need nobody to help you. And what he said, misery loves company. I don't need that kind of company.
You know, I don't want that shit. And the hell out of here. Don't nobody want that. No, but like I said, if you're younger and you find somebody, if y'all both got potential and y'all working it through, I can only speak to that because I'm a product of it. Like I lived it. Nice. So I understand, like you're ambitious and just be respectful of each other's ambitions and work to support each other, you know? So it gets worse.
And watch out for that, because also if you start out that way and then y'all don't continue on that path, you gotta look at that. You gotta
exactly,
because I've been down that.
Yeah.
Listen, start out this way. Yeah, we going to do it. We're going to do it. And then you still doing it and they operate. I'm going to go this way. And this one is still sitting here. Oh, let's wait a minute. Let's hold off.
You got to be married. Yeah. You got to be worried of that. So it's a constant, like relationship is constant
evolution
and alignment, making sure that your values are aligned. Like what you deem to be valuable, he deems to be valuable, your partner deems to be valuable. And you got to make sure still you're in working in alignment.
Yeah.
And then when you're not having those discussions to see whether, okay, is this going to work or not? You know, I think people tend to stave off having those conversations because if they love the person, they don't want to lose them. So they just bury it. But
or hurt their feelings.
But it will come up. It's going to creep up. That's a Band-Aid because years later, things will fester. It's going to show up in different ways. So you got to just have the conversation. Like, don't be a fucking punk and just have the conversation. No, it's the truth. Just have the conversation and get it out in the open and figure it out, because my whole thing is the longer you wait, and if you do need to just end it, you wasting time finding your person, both of y'all. Just be like, okay, this didn't work.
Right.
And it's okay. And if you got kids, let's figure this shit out. How we gonna deal with them? But then you could find your person and let me find mine.
Yeah.
And it's fine. It's just like, just gotta be open. And I think too many people are not willing to, first of all, people ain't ready because they ain't did the inner work themselves. But even if you haven't, you just gotta find your person. Your person's out there. Just don't waste time on the people that are non-factors. And I think some
non-motherfucking factor.
Yeah.
Oh, child.
Yeah.
Who's
Evelyn.
Yeah, you are non-motherfucking factor.
Gotta give people credit.
Yes, Evelyn. But it's the truth. Like a lot of times we stick with that because it becomes familiar, because it's safe. We think it's safe, and it's all it is familiar. You know, we don't think we're
worth change, or hoping you come to your senses. But then,
right. Well, I'm gonna say, do the best you can with what you got.
Real talk, real laughs, and real auntie energy. We are not your best auntie, baby.